And we are live. Ryan, it is unfortunate that tonight we're not in the studio. However, for the first time ever, we're live on our YouTube channel and across the Dean Blundell network. The Tampa Bay Lightning even up the series, and we're heading back to Tampa, tied 1 game apiece. If I had told you ahead of time that heading into game 3, we'd be split 1-1 with the Tampa Bay Lightning, I think you would have taken that all day.
Yeah, absolutely. And dude, I have one phrase for this game. It happened during the game. It's happening right now. I am over it. On to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's just the way it is. Tonight was a kind of a weird hockey game. At the end of the day, special teams. And I am over it, and I'm ready to go to Tampa to see what happens in game 3.
I think after a loss, people expect us to come on here and be negative and be like, oh my God. You know what? I'm not feeling that way at all. They can beat this team. I honestly believe that. They came out of the gate tonight playing pretty well, and it was a reminder that sloppy mistakes against the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion are going to cost you. And that's what happened tonight. Victor Hedman was the best player on the ice for both teams. And it's that simple. Your thoughts on that? I'm not leaving either one of these games like feeling down and going, oh my God, I don't know how they're going to come back from this. Like, I'm really not. I'm like, no. If they play their game and clean up some of the defensive mishaps, they can win this series.
What I see, it's just been a special teams 2 games. It's just every time somebody gets touched, grabbed, pushed, we're looking at the 2 dummies with the orange armbands, and we're all going, what are we doing? Yeah. First game, it was all about the penalties. Tonight, it was just special teams was everything tonight. 3 power play goals. That's the difference. The Leafs had chances early. They did not capitalize. I thought they actually moved the puck around pretty well and got a couple of good chances. But like when you give up 3 power play goals, like you're not winning anything. Like I don't care what team you are. So it's just I thought Wayne Simmons kind of got sucked into it near the end. Let's stop worrying about one part of the game. Let's stop looking at the zebras with the orange bands on their arms, and let's just kind of focus back on Maple Leaf hockey that's winning hockey going into game 3.
And, well, right from the get-go tonight, Pat Maroon and Corey Perry were running around trying to suck them into it. And I thought
that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. I thought Simmons tried to, respond, and that first penalty he took was a killer. Because they just made it 2-1. They were back in the game. The crowd was back into it. The building was back into it. And that was sort of like on a night where the officials were a factor and there was a lot of ticky-tack bad calls, like you were just saying, that penalty was no good.
But were those penalties any worse than the one Kyle Clifford took?
Well, I mean, Kyle Clifford, you could argue that it was worse, yes.
That's a 5-minute major. They could have scored 3 goals on that power play alone, but they kill it off, and that's just the difference in that hockey game. Tonight, they can't kill it off. You lose. You give up 3 power play goals. Like it's just that's what it's been so far in this series, and they just need to capitalize on their chances to keep up with this team because clearly they're going to capitalize on theirs eventually.
There was a lot made coming into this game about Andre Vasilevskiy being 14-0, now 15-0.
Oh.
Yeah. After a playoff loss.
And
we're about 2 minutes into this game, and I was like, oh boy, we're getting playoff Conn Smythe Vasilevskiy tonight. And I think they're going to, I think we should treat game 1 as a mirage when it comes to Andre Vasilevskiy and be like, this is the guy that we're going to get for the remainder of this series.
Dude, those stats are disgusting. Like, what?
I know.
14-0. Oh, yeah, that's not. I mean, maybe it happens again, but clearly that's a big enough track record to prove that you're not keeping this guy down for very long. He's eventually going to show up, and he did tonight.
Yeah. I want to dance around. I want to make sure I say this very carefully, because I genuinely, I'm honest when I say that after these 2 games, I'm feeling really positive, and I genuinely believe if they play their game, they can win this series. However, I need more from John Tavares, man. Like when we did our preview show for this series, I circled him and I said, Matthews is going to get all the best assignments. Matthews and Marner are going to get, like, Victor Hedman is going to be stapled to them everywhere they go. And we need John Tavares to be a factor. He was anything but tonight. Anything but. And
he's not doing anything.
I don't listen, he's winning a lot of face-offs, which is good. But it's like
face-offs.
I know, but it's like we need more. We need more, Johnny. We need more.
Face-offs. Good for you. $11 million for face-offs. Yeah, it's challenging to watch at this point. It's the easiest guy to root for in the world. Like, who doesn't love this guy? But like, dude, he's like 5 steps behind. Yeah. When does he ever have the puck coming through the neutral zone and like actually carries it for a decent amount of time? It's like when that puck hits his stick, unless it's in front of the net where he's banging one in or tipping one in, if he's carrying the puck, it's off his stick instantly. Like, it's just it's wild to watch how far behind he is in the speed game in this, especially against this team in this series. It is blatantly obvious. And right now I'm not feeling very confident that he's going to contribute anything. He might chip in with the odd power play goal, but it's not even about just the odd goal here and there, even though if a big one's nice. It's just like every shift, it's on his stick and it's off his stick instantly because somebody's right on him checking him because he just can't skate anymore.
Yeah, he can't move. He can't move. It's a huge problem. That is something that has me concerned. What did you think of Jack Campbell tonight?
I think the Perry goal was the only one where I was like, he could have had that one. But honestly, I think Tampa just, I didn't really put this one on Campbell tonight. I didn't. I thought he played well. He didn't give up a goal for almost 4 periods against this hockey team. That's all you could really ask for. It's just the penalties got out of control. And when you give that team, those players, those guys who've won 2 cups in a row, that amount of power play time, it's eventually going to come back to bite you. And so I'm not going to lay this one on Campbell, but I mean, we'll see what happens next game. He gets another 5 spot. Maybe we're feeling a little bit different.
I'm with you. I don't lay this at the feet of Jack Campbell. I think he was hung out to dry a lot tonight. I think a huge difference between game 1 and game 2 to me was they were just sloppy. They were more sloppy tonight. A lot of turnover. How many 2-on-1s? How many breakaways did they give up tonight? You didn't see that at all in game 1. And if you're gonna, like I said, if you're gonna eliminate the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions, you can't give up. You can't make sloppy mistakes like that. You just can't.
No, and what I said in our last episode of just the Leafs have to make things more difficult for the Lightning. Tonight was the perfect example of them not doing that. Mm-hmm. Like how many times did the Leafs enter the zone and the play got broken up and the Lightning just made a quick little breakout pass and create those chances you were just talking about? It's just the Leafs have to constantly put pressure on this hockey team because if they don't, it's easy breakouts and they're too good, they're too skilled, they're too fast, they're too smart to be held down for that long. You constantly have to be putting the pressure on this hockey team or they're going to burn you eventually. And that's exactly what happened tonight.
Yeah, you made that point last after game 1, and you're right. That is something they did a fantastic job of in game 1 and struggled to do tonight. And you can't give this team those opportunities.
Yeah, constant pressure, man. Like this is the most look at this team. Like look at them tonight. Like did they play the greatest hockey game you've ever seen tonight?
No.
Like I don't think they did. No. I thought the Leafs put pressure on them at times, but just, man, when you give this team opportunities, they cash in, man. Yep. They cash in, and you're in big trouble when you give them too many opportunities.
100%. Having said all that, though, man, I want to I really want to drive this point home is that I don't feel like I'm not walking away from that game going, oh my God, they came crashing back to reality. What are we going to do? How are we going to beat this team? I'm not feeling that way at all. Like at all. Like I'm feeling very much like clean up the defensive mistakes. Like you said, apply more pressure on the Lightning when the Lightning are trying to break out of their zone. Protect your goaltender. Hit the net, for God's sakes. How many times on the power play tonight it's Morgan Riley firing it wide? It's like, hit the net, capitalize on your scoring chances. They can win this series. I truly do believe that. And, and if Vasilevskiy is going to play like he did tonight, you got to capitalize on those. You got to capitalize on those scoring chances, man. Penalties cost us tonight. We're seeing in the comments. I agree. I do think, like I said, I think there was a couple bad ones, like Simmons' first penalty was not very good. But then, what are we doing with the officiating? Like
it's been wild, man. Yeah. It's been wild. It's just last game, the way what was made of Sheldon Keefe, calling it a borderline violent affair coming up. You could tell that they had the whistles out. They're ready to call everything. And I thought, even though it was a little bit over the top, they did keep it pretty consistent with calling every little ticky-tack call they had. I thought tonight, it just got a little too... I hate when playoff hockey turns into just every time something happens, it's just, what was that? What was that? It's just, I don't want to see a series like that. At some point, whatever refs are in charge for game 3, they need to establish it's such a fine line in officiating. It's not easy. I feel bad for these guys. It's a very tough job to walk that fine line between letting these guys play playoff hockey and making sure that the obvious calls are called. Because tonight I thought there was just a string of power plays for each team. Like the Leafs had 2-3 power plays in a row, and then the Lightning had 3 power plays in a row. And it's just, I feel like they just need to rein it in a little bit. They need to find that fine line between just making those consistent calls and just letting them also just play a little bit more playoff hockey.
That penalty call on Ilya Lyubushkin was ticky-tack garbage.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. But then, I mean, the penalty before on Kerfoot, like Kerfoot got his arm on the guy's shoulder. Like, that's a penalty. But then again, like you said, then you watch the Lyubushkin penalty, and it's like, what is that? Yep. Like, you got to stick it on his hip a little bit for 2 seconds. And then 2 minutes later, you see a Lightning player do something very similar to that. And it's not called. And it's just, I hate when it just turns into looking at the referees for every single little questionable contact. They got to figure it out. They got to find a way to keep it consistent and walk that fine line, even though I will admit it is very challenging for those officials.
I think the narrative, the Mitch Marner doesn't show up in the playoffs narrative, is evaporating before our very eyes, because he was fantastic in game 1, and then I thought he was fantastic again tonight. Austin Matthews, while we didn't have the sort of offensive presence from like a goal scoring perspective tonight that we had in game 1, the Michael Bunting goal started on Matthews finishing his check. I've got no complaints at all with the top line tonight.
No. None. And it's hard. And again, what we were just saying, it's hard for these guys to get on a roll 5-on-5 because of the special teams, because of all the penalties. It's like, how are you supposed to get any momentum 5-on-5 when you're constantly on the penalty kill or on a power play? But I totally agree. I think Matthews had a couple gaffes in his own end tonight a couple times, but he more makes up for it with that one takeaway he had coming back and back checking Stamkos, lifting up his stick. That was an incredible play.
He's the best at that.
Yeah, and he's finishing his check. I saw at least 3 times the guy finished his check and actually used his size and put a body on a guy. And that's when you look at Austin Matthews, it's like, dude, you're a big boy and you're the best goal scorer in this league. If you just mix those two things together, you're good. And I thought, I'm with you. I thought they were decent. It's just, I thought Nylander was subpar 5-on-5. And I also thought Tavares is just, and then John Tavares is just, I don't know what he's doing.
Jess Kaufman in the comments, Tavares is a non-factor, can't drive the play, doesn't get open for quality shots, elite hands in front are gone. Completely agree. John Tavares is a huge problem. Like it's that, like I said, that's my main concern coming out of these two games is like this. Like I said, Matthews and Marner have Hedman stapled to them everywhere they go. So when he's out there, he needs to do something, and he's not doing anything.
And the expectations for him are so high too. Like I even thought the third line tonight was a little bit not great. I wasn't the biggest fan, but it's just when you're expected to produce the way John Tavares is expected to produce, like and you don't, especially in this.
He was getting scoring chances, right?
Yeah,
he
was
was
just
out there,
not.
he was like making a difference in the offensive
Rob,
zone.
he can't even carry the puck through the neutral zone anymore. He's done.
No, he's done. He can't. He's done. He's totally done. Oh, we lost you here.
I think I'm still here on the audio.
Yeah, you are still here on the audio. But anyways, I'm with you. It's like I just don't know what they're going to do with him. They've tried switching his line mates up. They've tried all kinds of stuff. I don't know that we got another one agreeing with the Tavares take. It's just it's a huge problem, guys. I really don't know what we're going to do. I really don't know what we're going to do. It's
yeah, I'm trying to get
huge concern.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back here. My camera is just acting like John Tavares right now. I don't know what's going on. Well, it's okay.
We can still hear you, so you can.
I can't even skate through the neutral zone with my camera right now because
everyone's getting a good look at my my face right now on the live stream.
Yeah, and your setup.
Yeah, I gotta tell you guys, like everyone who's watching the stream right now and in the comments, like I do feel really good about where this team is at after 2 games. I really do. I think that they've proven that if they're skating, the Lightning cannot contain them. And as long as they don't make the sloppy errors and sloppy mistakes, they have a legitimate shot to win this series. And Jack Campbell keeps playing the way he can. They're going to have to find a way to solve Vasilevskiy. I mean, we watched I think game 1 Vasilevskiy was a mirage. I think that was an off game for him, and I think what we saw tonight, the former Conn Smythe winner and who a lot of people regard as the best player in the league, best goalie in the league, excuse me, that's who the Leafs are going to have to face going forward. And I think that's something they're just going to have to figure that out.
Yeah, no, it's just all about getting opportunities, getting chances on him. It's just getting pucks to the net. I mean, I feel like with a guy as talented as he is, it's going to depend. Like one night, I don't know, like tonight he just showed up and it's just like in the first 2 periods of the hockey game, they were getting nothing by him. And you just look at that record after coming off a loss. The guy's undefeated. It's something like what other goalie in the NHL playoffs has ever done that? Like he's a really special breed, to be honest with you. But you don't win back-to-back cups, play every single minute of every single hockey game, and then they're in for a tough battle against this guy. Like it's just they're gonna have to figure it
out. Seeing in the comments, take it easy on Johnny. He doesn't have a ton of playoff experience. I get all that. I get that he doesn't have a ton of playoff experience, but like $11 million, captain of the team. Like this is when you need. And again, I don't think anyone is expecting him to go out there and be on the level of like Marner or Matthews. Like he's just not there in his career currently. But we need more. We need more than what he's currently giving. Like that's for sure. Without question.
No, it's just the what other hockey team in this league pays somebody $11 million to be a borderline fourth liner at the moment?
Yeah.
Like I will go that far. Like he is a borderline fourth liner right now. Like I just don't, other than playing those top power play minutes, I just don't see what else this guy is doing on the ice right now that is making him a second line like stud that a teams need a game plan for. It's like, no, honestly, all you need to do is just skate to your ability because it's faster than his and take the puck off him. That's what the game plan is for John Tavares right now. When really the gate, like when you're looking at the Leafs overall structure, it's having him on that second line is supposed to be that ultimate dangerous threat that, like we've said earlier, Hedman taking Matthews and Marner, it's supposed to leave Tavares open for an easier pathway to get goals. But it's just now I'm looking at the third line as that. It's like, what is Tavares going to do? Like, I don't know, man. Like, do you see getting any better either? I don't.
Are you gonna? Do you see your camera getting any better, or what's going on?
I am just having some serious camera issues right now. I don't know. It says it's plugged in, but I don't know. I think I'm just. This is game 2. I'm game 2 Leafs right now with this camera.
Simmons penalty really ended our momentum. I agree. It was not a great penalty at a great time, especially just making the game 2-1. Yeah, I don't know. But again, I don't want anybody to be like, I don't want anybody getting down here. Like, this is, we need to feel good about where the Leafs are at after 2 games. If I had said to any of you that we'd be heading back to Tampa at 1 game apiece, we would have all taken that. Especially after a dominant first game 1 performance, and now after like coming back and showing some fight there at the end of game 2, they're in Tampa's head. I truly believe that after 2 games, they're in Tampa's head without question.
Well, the Simmons thing is weird because like all we've talked about for the last couple years is how this team doesn't stand out for themselves and how they're not tough enough and how they don't show enough grit and determination. But it's funny when the one guy on our team who that's really his primary job goes ahead and kind of does that. It just always ends up kind of backfiring on him. And the fan base just kind of turns on that person for a hot minute. It's just he went out tonight and, yeah, he took a couple dumb penalties, and he's taken a couple dumb penalties in the past. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he just cross-checked Corey Perry. He gave Bellemare a good shot, trying to stick up for his teammates and show that tough playoff toughness that everybody's been talking about. But
yeah,
man, it's just, but then he takes 2 penalties. And now everyone's like, oh, well, you shouldn't have done that. That was a dumb penalty. So now what if Simmons plays next game? Like, what's his game plan going into that game? It's like, try to be physical, but don't be an idiot. But at the same time, it's hard to not be an idiot when you're looking at Corey Perry across from you. The guy's like an absolute gets under your skin like anybody I've ever seen before.
Yeah, I do believe they're in Tampa's head. I really do. I think they are in Tampa's head. When Tampa cannot contain them when they're skating. We've seen it through 2 games now. Like they can't contain them when they're skating. Are we just gonna call it quits on your camera here? Is that?
Yeah, I've been plugging this thing in like over and over and over again. Of course this had to happen, but I don't know what's going on.
All right, so we'll call it. We've been going 25 minutes here now, so I think we can call it quits. Thanks everybody for joining us in the comments tonight. This was fun. This is our first time doing this. Usually we're doing our in studio episodes. Could make that happen tonight, so we thought we'd jump on and just try this live thing out. Not without technical difficulties, but that's technology for you. Once again, thanks everyone for joining in the comments. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys after game 3.